always. Right, we now come to the part of the show where we're going to look ahead to what we've got coming this weekend. And, you know, our man who doesn't like advertisements won't like the fact we've got sponsors. But, hey, there you go. We've got sponsors. So let's give our sponsor a shout-out before we get into all that's coming up this weekend.
He's target. Here comes
Ooh, love that brunch.
Let me add a little bit of spice.
So there you go, Rugby League Three Quarters, another Facebook page where they talk about betting and all the rest of it. Get over there if you like a bit of a bet. And Craig Forth there, just backing up what the community does. Dawn, another member who didn't even know Craig, I don't think, before Super League Raw came along, managed to get him a ticket for the KR Warrington game because he was struggling to get one. A fantastic community. That is what we're all about. That is what we're all about. We're growing the best community online. Do become a part of it. Press that QR code. Please support us. We want your support as much as possible. Right, now then. Here we go. Now, Greg, earlier on, we had a little bit of sport, but we've known each other years, because you wanted to, you know, pay tribute to a fantastic comment. It was Robert Higson in the chat, and absolutely right, sir. You were absolutely right to try and get my attention on that, but we were coming to it anyway. We're now at semi-final Rugby League, ladies and gentlemen, and we've talked now for many, many weeks about the week off. Is it an advantage? Is it not an advantage? Well, we'll have a little conversation about that before we get into the two games. And yet again, I'll leave nothing to chance. Here we go. Let's go through it. Grand final history. There's been 26 grand finals, ladies and gentlemen. The league winners have appeared 20 times and won it 14 times. The runners-up have appeared 20 times and won it 5. So not as successful, but still 20 out of 26. So that you would suggest advantage first and second. First have played second 15 times out of the 26. So there you go. 15 times first and second eventually ended up getting to the grand final. The other 11, not so much. Third place have appeared 7 times and won 4 of those contests. Fifth place have appeared 3 times and only won the once. So for those of you who are very good at maths, third and fifth have a better win percentage than second. Third have got a 57% win percentage to 25%, whereas fifth have got a 33% of 25. So that's interesting. That is interesting. So, gentlemen, you wouldn't have known that coming on tonight. So I'll ask Greg, because you go to this many, many times, and of course you wanted Robert to get his night in the sun with a great question.
Yeah.
Is it an advantage to have a week off based on those statistics?
God, you've thrown me now with those statistics. I think it depends which team it is that has the weeks off. I think if you're seasoned grand finalists over the years, they've gradually gone to adapt to dealing with that week off and dealt with it accordingly. If that doesn't sound too much like a sitting on the fence answer.
I think the fact that both first and second have played in 20 finals
out of 26, yeah,
you'd have to suggest it is an advantage. But when I was putting this together, Steph, and it's not good reading for your lads who finished fifth, but I was amazed that, you know, those who finished third in 7 appearances have won 4. I mean, that really surprised me.
Yeah, it's really interesting. But I think, like Reggie said, you've got to look at the teams who it actually involves here. It's like if Leigh had a week off last week, do I think we'd have gone to Salford and win? I think it probably would have done us harm because of our momentum that we've been building over the past few weeks. But do I think it's going to be detrimental to Wigan? No, absolutely not. I think they'll be more than happy with a week's rest in it. So I do really think it depends on the squad. It depends on the team. It depends on how used to they are in playing in big games. There's so many different factors. What that graphic does tell you is it's incredibly difficult to win it from 4th, 5th and 6th.
Well, yeah, I was going to ask that. Does that mean nobody from fourth has ever won the grand final?
Well, Mr. Nixon, I will just quickly check my. In fact, nobody from fourth has ever won the grand final, and nobody from sixth. Oh, sorry, no, my apologies. St. Helens in 1999 won 8-6 against Bradford, having finished fourth. But in terms of sixth, nobody who has finished sixth have ever gone on to win the grand final. Leeds have done it from fifth, of course. But yeah, only St. Helens from fourth, 8 points to 6 against Bradford in 1999. So there's your answer on that one, my friend. So there you go. There you go. So anyway, there you are. So we said we'd have a look at it. I have had a look at it. I've done the analysis for you.
Fantastic, Dave. Brilliant.
Is it an advantage? Yeah. It probably is when you look at the amount of finals between them. And what I think, I'll just bring it up one more time for you, ladies and gentlemen. The one thing that really did strike me as well, that first and second have played 15 times. So, that's interesting. So even though first and second have got to 20 grand finals, first and second have only competed 15 times. So 11 times, somebody else who hasn't finished first and second has gone to the grand final. And that makes it interesting as we get into this part of the show, because we're going to now start discussing who is going to get to that grand final. But before we do, we are going to induct 2 more players into the Dream Team, and you'll see why in a moment. So anyway, the Dream Team, let's go to the standoffs. Here we go. These were the contenders. And of course, Brodie Croft will probably surprise quite a few people that young Brodie is in there, but all will become apparent. So yeah, George. Now people who say, "Hang on a minute," the Dream Team is Mark Sneed and Mikey Lewis. Yeah, they both play scrum half. Now, don't get me wrong. I think halfbacks are halfbacks, and I do, and we might have a look at that for next year. But every team of the week has pretty much allowed people to remain in their rightful position, 6 or 7. So it's only right and appropriate that we keep that going through to the Dream Team this year. But we might have an exec as part of the AGM meeting that we'll have with our members on the 20th of October. We might discuss, should we just look at halfbacks in the team of the week, or do they want us to keep it standoff and scrum half? But anyway, there you go. These are the contenders. Let's now find out who has got the standoff of the season.
So little time to communicate, so little time to address. And what about that for a pass, a final pass from Williams?
Trying to line, trying to post Duxie down. Duxie gets it away. Here's Williams. Williams over the line. Well, here's Williams. He's the go-to. Okay, fires a pass to King, and it's a magical pass again. Hold their attacking shape. Short pass that over. Williams strong finds Williams with space. Williams sends the kick in. Warrington win in Golden Point.
So there you go, George Williams, the standoff of 2024. 21 appearances, 8 tries, 19 assists, 68 tackles, 12 clean breaks, 26 offloads, 386 tackles. Good effort that in defence, it's got to be said. 422 carries, 2,097 metres, a 4.9 average. Now, before people start saying, you can't count last week's game, that was not counted in these statistics, ladies and gentlemen. But it was just an opportunity to have a look at some glorious passes, a wonderful drop goal. Nothing. I was indulging myself with the vision that you just saw there. Nothing more, nothing less. But yeah, George Williams is the standoff of the year. Before I come to the lads, let's just see how we compare. Brodie Croft, actually, 25 appearances. Actually made the least appearances of these. May 26, Croft 25. However, he's matched Croft with 8 tries. May's got 6. He's made the second amount highest assists, 22 for Croft, 19 for Williams, 13 for May. Tackle bust, though, 68 for George, having played 4 games less than Croft, 5 games less than May, 68 tackle bust, played 54 for Croft, 52 for May. Clean breaks, 12 for Williams, 13 for Croft, 4 for May. Offloads, 26 for George, 33 for May, 14 for Croft. Tackles, 386 for Williams, 521 for May. Good effort that from standoff. Fair play to Tyrone May. 427 for Croft. But do bear in mind, Williams has played less games. Errors, 21 and 21 for Croft and Williams. 16 only for May. Carries, though, 400. I mean, that's been the difference for me. And I'll get Greg's view first on this, actually. I'll bring Greg in first. Williams this year has been busier. 21 games, 422 carries of the ball, made over 2,097 meters. He's averaged 4.9. Croft has made more meters, but he's played 4 games more. But, Greg, this season, George Williams has arrived at Warrington, hasn't he? I mean, the first 2, maybe not, but this year, we've seen George Williams, haven't we?
I think Sam Burgess has brought a newfound confidence to George Williams and allowed him to play, taking the shackles off. There have been a couple of games this season where he's not been as influential as he should have been. I'm thinking of Wembley, especially, where he kind of played within himself, but, that was a lot down to the Wigan defence. But, yeah, I mean, a big shout-out to Tyrone May. I think he's, again, somebody who has maybe gone under the radar because of Mikey Lewis. But Tyrone May has been a phenomenal player this season. Scored some great tries, made some great tries. But, yeah, I think the shackles have been taken off George Williams this season by Sam Burgess. And Drinkwater gets a lot of criticism from Warrington fans. And unjustly so sometimes, because I think what Drinkwater does is allows Williams to play his game. He's a controlling half and Williams is the creative half. I think Drinkwater has got to be praised with his partnership with Williams, really, because that is what's allowed Williams to do what Williams does. I've criticised Drinkwater at times. I'm not, completely innocent in that regard. But when you look back at games, and you just realise that Drinkwater there is doing a lot of controlling of field position to allow Williams to do what he needs to do.
Spot on. Obviously, Bevan French, there's no doubt about it. His latter season form since coming back from injury and before he went out injured. There's no doubt about it. If Bevan French plays over 20 games this season, he's probably standoff of the year. There's no argument about that. But there has to be a cut-off. And like I say, I think you've got to play 20 games or more. I really do. You've got to play over 75% of the games of the season. If you're not, how can you possibly be in a team of the year? I'm sorry. So it is about consistency. French has been exceptional, though. In the games that he's played, he has been incredible. Steph says it all the time. He's a superstar of a Super League, but it doesn't give him a divine right to get into the team of the year. It really doesn't. I think if Bevan French plays 27 games next year, Steph, we're sat here and number 6 is Bevan French, isn't it?
Yeah, there's no one who'll compete with him.
No.
There's that. But I think it's a really good 3 players to have there, and great to actually see the stats, because I wouldn't have even considered Brodie Croft. Given, I think a lot of people will look at him going to Leeds and expecting him to have done more. But when you look at it, you can probably say he has probably done quite a bit, and maybe it's other people around him who've not done as much. But Tyrone May is an interesting one, because I remember at the beginning of the season when it was raining, the pitches weren't so good, we were all questioning. I seem to remember, especially after the Warrington, when you beat him there in that mudbath game, there was a few eyebrows raised about Tyrone May and whether he was going to do it for KR. I think as the pitches have dried up, he's absolutely come into his own, and I think he's got that combination with Lewis going now. You see him chasing the high balls all the time, and he's showing his athletic ability off. So he has done really well. But to speak of the actual winner, Williams this season's been absolutely outstanding, and I think Reggie's got it absolutely right, along with some of your other players, particularly Dufty. I think Sam Burgess has had a massive impact on his game. And it's great to see, and it's great to see from an England perspective as well, that George is playing with such confidence and being a leader, which he is on that pitch, and it's great to see that from a neutral perspective.
Spot on, absolutely spot on. Sam Burgess, of course, not up for Coach of the Year this year, but hey ho, there you go. That's life. We did that earlier in the show, but yeah, well done to George Williams. I think nobody can argue with that in terms of the season that he's had. So on that basis, then of course it makes the next decision all the more harder. Who is the scrum half of the year in this category? Lachlan Lamb, who's had a great period, especially in the second half of the season. Harry Smith, we've all said in terms of game manager. I know Mark Sneed gets a lot of plaudits, but Harry Smith in the big games, he just turns up time and time again and controls it for Wigan. Sneed has had an exceptional season. I think he's benefited where the Goldthorpe's concerned in terms of getting those 3 points in terms of potential man of steel. And, of course, he won the Goldthorpe. And I think Steph's point over Tyrone May is interesting. I think because the Goldthorpe earlier in the season was giving Tyrone May big raps like they were Theo Farge. I think it almost turned everybody off Tyrone May because we were thinking, why is he getting 3 points? Because in the early part of the season, he was getting points. And we were like, never in a million years was he top 3 in the game. However, as the season's gone on, and that word consistency, that's what we do here at Super League Raw in terms of our dream team. We look for consistency through the campaign. From a consistent perspective, he has flown under the radar. And when you get into the detail, he deserves his spot as a contender. And, of course, Mikey Lewis. So let's get to probably the biggest foregone conclusion that we're going to have. Let's have a look at the scrum half of the year.
Support on the inside, and Mikey Lewis is into score.
I said it last week, and I'll say it again. That's how you induct people into a dream team. Oh, yes, Mikey Lewis. What a season. The young man has had 26 appearances, 19 tries, 24 assists, 148 tackle busts. I mean, dearie me. I mean, look at the size of the man. Oh, incredible strength. 19 clean breaks, 17 offloads, 300. I'm rolling as I'm saying this. 376 tackles, 416 carries, 2,459 meters and 5.9 average carry. Mikey, oh, he's an English superstar in the making. We wax lyrical over Bevan French. Let's elevate one of our own English talents. This kid has got rugby league at his feet, and he will, of course, one day grace Australia. There's no doubt about that in my mind. What a player, what a season. Missed the sale. Give your plaudits to young Mikey Lewis.
Yeah, I think this is probably the easiest dream team selection of all of them. Mikey's been absolutely outstanding this year. And to be fair to the lad, he's took so much flack, a lot of it of his own accord, with winding people up and stuff like that. But I think he has toned it down a lot this year. And I think there's no coincidence that he's toned it down a bit and he's also become a better player because of it. But what a player this lad's turning into. And I think, for me, the making of him was getting his England call up, and whether Sean Wayne's had a word with him at that level, I don't know. Probably Peters as well. He won't want to take that away from his game, but I think he's definitely told him to rein it in. But some of the tries, some of the assists, at times Mikey Lewis this season has been unplayable for me, and he's a massive, massive reason in terms of why Hull KR have been as successful as they have.
Well, what I would say as well, and I think I think you both agree with me on this one, is it's the fact that he's turned up this season in the big games. In that highlight reel there, Warrington, Wigan, Saints. It's very easy, isn't it, to go and score a hat trick against London, Castleford, whatever it may be. Yeah. Mikey Lewis in the big games this year has produced time and time again. Quite exceptional. Greg, before I bring you in, let's get into a bit more detail. Here we go. Here he is alongside the other contenders. Both him and Sneed and Lamb, all 26. Smith, 22. Of course, could have been less than that had the opening game of the season spear tackle actually got a ban. But anyway, that's another story. We move on. Tries, you can see it there. 19 tries. Blows the others away. He's got that, he's level with Lamb. 24 assists apiece, Smith 14, Sneed 22. Try assist, 24. Tackle bust, 148. I mean, you know, there's leaving people in the shade, and then there's people that, quite frankly, never got off the starting traps. I mean, dearie me. Lewis, 148. Snead, 28. Smith, 21. Lamb, 55. I mean, that's just unbelievable. Clean breaks. Again, you know, hold me beer, he says to the others. 19 clean breaks to 13 for Lamb. What a piece for Snead and Smith. Offloading, 17. And remember, these offload stats are not where they get knocked on or it breaks up play. These are executed offloads. You know, 17 to Lamb, 6. Smith's 8. Offloads for Snead, 4. Tackles up there and punching. Smith was fair play to Harry Smith. You know, in a winning team, 402 tackles. That's a good effort from Harry Smith. 376 from Lewis, 374 from Snead, 371 from Lamb. So not an awful lot other than Smith head and shoulders on that particular start. But this is really interesting. We often think about Mikey Lewis as a bit of a maverick, that he makes a lot of mistakes. He's made the least amount of errors of these players. And when you consider the experience of Snead, the quality of Smith, the quality of Lamb, you know, we're talking about a young Mikey Lewis here. 17 errors this season, 20 apiece for Smith and Lamb, 23 for Snead. None worse than the one, of course, even though that wouldn't be counted, but like I say, against Wigan with that dropout. Carries the most, 416 times he's carried the ball, 2,459 metres made, 5.9. Again, leaves the rest in the shade because he's a different type of player to a Harry Smith who only makes 902. He relies on his kicking game, and we get that. But when you look at that, Greg, when you look at that graphic, I mean, what a season in that company to be that good.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I think Snead and Smith are slightly different players to Lewis and Lamb.
Agreed.
I think Snead and Smith are controlling halfbacks, whereas Lewis and Lamb, a little bit like Williams, are the explosive, the creative halves. But again, they all play in the same position. I think Snead deserves credit this season because he's been at the heart of a lot of what Salford have done. But, you know, Lewis, and I can have no greater kind of compliment to him. He reminds me of Andy Gregory in the way he plays. He's only small in stature, but he can punch through tackles. He can create tries off his own back. He can run in from distance. And he can outpace defence. He can sidestep defence. He doesn't half remind me of Andy Gregory. And Andy Gregory was one of the greatest players that's ever played this game. You know, that's who he does remind me of. You know, if you put Snead and Williams together, they'd make a great combination. If you put Snead and Lewis together, my word, that would be some combination. It really would.
It would. Steph, like I say, when you look at those stats, mate, I mean, it's just like...
Yeah.
This kid
yeah,
could be. I mean, it's a long way to go, you know, injuries, temperament, whatever. You know, he's still got a lot of learning to do. But in the here and in the now, this kid, perhaps, I'm going to probably go Wellesby. The most exciting young English talent since Wellesby.
I think now he is. I think he's earned that title this year. I love that. This is where it comes into the 6v7 argument again for the dream team.
Yeah.
Because for me, a lot of people wouldn't even have Lamb in the conversation. For me, he's clear second, Lamb. Clear second on those stats in that position. When you look at it like that, but Mikey Lewis is ahead of all of them. He's turning into potentially a very, very, very good player who could be taught.
He's a very good player now.
No, I mean,
an exceptional player.
Yeah, I'm talking at the top. Superstar.
I think you're looking for world beater, Steph.
Yeah, in terms of regular England starting halfback kind of territory. One where Australians, Samoans, Tongans are talking about, we've got to watch out for Mikey Lewis. And I think that's kind of the territory he's eking into now, which is fantastic.
You know what, I'm sorry for putting in, mate, and I really do apologise, but I think you've touched on a really good point there. It'd be too easy against Samoa to go a Smith-Williams combination. In the grand scheme of things, we lose this test match, this test series against Samoa. This is all about building to the next World Cup. for me, you've got to give Mikey Lewis. I mean, his head. I mean, I think we'd all agree. I mean, we've not done our Player of the Year yet. I think looking at the book, he's his favourite for Man of Steel. You've got to use this Samoan test as an opportunity to put Mikey Lewis in there.
Well, why wouldn't you?
Exactly. Because it's about that. It's that word trust. I mean, you've heard that so many times about Sean Wayne's teams. Trust. Does he trust Mikey Lewis? And for me, it's not about trust. It's about raw talent. You don't know what he's going to do, which means that the opposition don't know what he's going to do. Excuse me. Now is the time.
It's a test match, and you've got to give test matches respect. Of course you have. But for me, it's as good as a friendly. This is your opportunity where your best players of the season deserve to go and get their opportunity to shine. This is where you play your Insembers. This is where you play your Matty Ashtons over your Dom Young. That for me is where you just go for it and say, come on, lads, let's see what you can do. And if they don't get that opportunity, how are they ever going to shine? How are they ever going to, prove themselves against NRL players, against some of the best players in the world, in a game where if we lose it, it's chip paper tomorrow. No one's going to be bothered whether we lose to Samoa or not. So, and not that I think we will. I think we're probably giving ourselves more. It's too easy for Sean Wayne to pick your older players, your more experienced professionals. I think the paying public would much rather see Mikey Lewis play.
Well, Craig Forth said it, can't wait for the next World Cup to see our young England team being more mature, experienced, and taking Australia, and we've got to give him that chance. Mikey Lewis fully deserving our number 7 shirt. Incredible all season. Greg, go on.
Well, I just wanted to reply to Andy Bibby, who says he's more Parry Gordon than Andy Gregory. Andy, even I don't remember Parry Gordon, but I believe he was a magnificent player and quite possibly the greatest player never to get capped. So I shall bow to your greater knowledge there, sir.
Well, to be fair, I don't know Andy that well. I don't know Andy that well, but I think Andy's maybe of a different generation for the pure reason that when we were talking about, how many times first and second they got to the grand final, he threw in there that Warrington won the Premiership from 8th. We're talking Super League. I mean, so Andy, lovely. Don't get me wrong, lovely to have Andy with us, but I think Andy is dare I say it, a far more greater vintage, perhaps, than maybe we are.
That is not an issue, but Andy, you may well be right with Parry Gordon, but for me, he reminds me of Andy Gregory, minus the biceps that were bigger than my chest on Andy Gregory. Andy Gregory was one of the greatest players I've ever seen play the game.
Andy Gregory was class.
I think he's got a bit of Bobby Goulding in him.
Yeah, mate. There's shades of so many
generations. Yeah.
You could even say Alex Murphy.
Yeah, mate. There's shades of so many, mate. I mean, and they're really. I mean, Mikey Lewis can be whoever he wants to be.
Yeah.
And I think what we've seen this season is a step in the right direction. Not only is he produced, but I think he's maturing. He's still got that bit of grub in him. But you know what? That's the flaw of genius. In every sport, in every life, it's the flaw of genius. They always have that little bit about him, and if you take that out of his game, he's not the same Mikey Lewis.
Everyone we've just mentioned there, Andy Gregory, Bobby Goulding and Alex Murphy, were all naughty scrum halves.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, I'm going to have to call time on Mikey because we've still got to get through this weekend, so I'm very conscious of the time.
Yes, we are.
So let's go there. Let's go there now. So let's build up to this weekend. And here we go. The key facts for this first contest between the Warrington Wolves and the Hull KR at Craven Park this coming Friday night. Combined this season, it couldn't be closer. It's 50 points to 46 in the favour of Hull KR. Warrington are the best attacking defence in 2024. We mentioned that last week. Both sides have beaten all the semi-finalists this year. So both Hull KR and Warrington have got a W against all of the semi-finalists. So they will believe they can get to Old Trafford. The Robins are appearing in their 7th final series. The Wire, their 15th. Hull KR last won the title in 1985. The Wire, of course, in 1955. Both would love to lift it this year. Let's get into the head-to-head. This is how it looks. 13 since Super League started for KR, 23 for the Wire. Wire coming on a 4-game winning streak. Of course, Hull KR having a week off last week, 2 wins before that. It's 2-1 to the Wire. A win at Craven Park, a win in their first meeting at the Halliwell Jones. But of course, let's not forget that Hull KR absolutely put on a masterclass at the Halliwell Jones Stadium, of course, in the final game to get that win. They're incredible. The average attack couldn't be closer. 26-27. The average defensive, the team scoring against them 12 and 11. I mean, 2 points. 2 points in it. That's how tight this is. The bookies rightly have Hull KR as the favourites, 4-5. The Warrington Wolves, 11-10. Let's get into a bit more detail. I know I'm ragging your head here, Greg, but stay with me, mate. Stay with me. 2024 season tries 133 for KR to 126 Warrington. So even though Warrington have got the best attack in the league, KR have scored more tries. Why? We'll get to that in a moment. Tackle efficiency, 91.8% for the Wire, 90% for the Robins. It's going to be tight in D. Tackle busts, averages, 38 to 37. Clean breaks, 5.3 to 5.7. Errors, 9.1 to 9.3. My mate who wonders why we should invest in Super League Raw. This is why. It's called analysis. It's called getting into the detail. It's the finest podcast on earth, sir. Anyway, back to offloads. 300 for the Robins, 198. That's interesting. The Robins have kept the ball alive more. Greg, when I come to you in a minute, think about that. Warrington have often been considered the team that have been too expansive too often. KR have got that mantle here. 30 offloads to 198. And Warrington learned the lesson. Are KR going to be too, giddy with the ball? Interesting. Average meters, nothing much in that. Just, dare I say, 31 meters as an average difference in Warrington's favour. But look at the goals. That is where it really is quite interesting. 78% conversion for the Warrington Wolves. 64%. That is why Warrington have the highest attack. It's not because they scored the most tries. It's because they converted more chances over the sticks. That is critical. We're now in playoff rugby league. That is a critical stat. Now, I'm not saying for 1 minute that stat's going to get Warrington the win, but I've hit you with a lot there. I've hit you with a lot. Greg, unwrap that lot if you can.
Oh, God. I just hope. Do you know what? Let's put my cards on the table. This time last week, I felt physically sick at the thought of Warrington playing Saints in that playoff. Because I thought Saints finishing 6th, us finishing 3rd, Saints almost a full team back, they would beat us and knock us out again in the first round of a playoff. It's the first playoff game we've won since 2018. And you know what? I'm really relaxed about this one. Not because I think that Warrington might win it, but this season for me has been better than I could have ever expected as a Warrington fan. We went to Wembley when nobody expected us to. We finished 3rd, and we've beaten St Helens 4 times this season, and we've knocked them out of the playoffs. So I'm really kind of quite calm going into this game. And you know what? If Hull KR beats us on Friday, there's a team that finishes 2nd, then they deserve it. They deserve to be in that grand final. But I am, as I've been asked in the chat, I am still going 9-17 Warrington on this one. I think if we can nullify Mikey Lewis, Hull KR will miss Minchella. They really will. He's an integral part of that team. We've also, you talk about Mikey Lewis. We've got Matt Duffy, who's equally as explosive as Mikey Lewis, albeit a different position.
Greg, if I can, let me just pull you up on Minchella's point. Okay.
Yeah.
This is an interesting point. And Steph, by all means, comment on this in a minute. Minchella, as good as Minchella's been, we put him in our dream team last week. He's in the official Super League dream team. As good as Minchella has been, it's not as catastrophic as losing a Mikey Lewis, as losing a Matt.
No, it's not. But
Hadley this year, when he's had to deputise, has deputised really well. So I appreciate they'd rather have Minchella there, and absolutely they would. But I don't think it's that.
I think he's the calming influence. So it's not what he maybe does with the ball or whatever, but it's his influence on the pitch that I think they'll miss. He's a bit like a Mike Gregory, if you like. I'm coming all with players with surnames of Gregory, but it's a bit like a Mike Gregory or a Paul Schoolthorpe. He kind of calms it down. He knows when to calm the situation down, Minchella, and that's why he's been so good this season. Our Hull KR friends might disagree with me, but I think his influence will be missed.
Well, you could be right. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's the captain after all, and I get that. But like I said, I just wanted to throw that in there. Steph, I mean, your take on Minchella and then the game in general. Greg gone 9-17. Minchella, you'd rather have him, but Dean Hadley is more than an adequate replacement, isn't he? On form.
You'd definitely rather have Minchella. Definitely. However, Hadley's been absolutely brilliant in deputising and his performances this season. I think I'm pretty sure he won some awards at the Hull KR Awards. I think I recall.
He did, yeah.
Player of the year, mate. Player of the
Yeah,
year.
exactly. So yes, it is a loss, and some people will say no Minchella, no limoncello to go a Steph reference there. But no, he's 100% going to be a loss. However, do I see that as being the deciding factor in this game? No, I think KR have got the players to win this game. Likewise, Warrington have got the players to win this game as well. I think it's such an intriguing semi-final, this one. It should be a classic for the ages. It should be. Let's hope it is, as a neutral. Let's hope they bang 10 bells out of each other in this one. I think one thing Minchella has got in him is, as we saw at Leigh, the potential to get a card. So that's one thing that's probably not going to happen. But I just see there's some really good comments in the chat here, and I'm going to 100% agree with them. This could come down to goal kicking. And you know, I think Don Kirby, I think said, was it Don Kirby or Don Bit? One of the Dons.
Well, just a quick shout out, Josh Huff, I think is the way he'll pronounce his surname. First time seeing Josh put a comment in our chat. Welcome to Super League Raw, Josh. And Josh is one of those in the chat who has said about goal kicking stuff.
Yeah, 100%. And one of the Dawns said, I think it was Dawn Baker actually, said that Theolis's boot should have its own seat on the coach on the way to the game.
Yeah, there it is.
Dawn Baker, there you go. Brilliant, Dawn.
Well done.
I wouldn't have come up with that one, Dawn. That's an absolute classic line. That's brilliant. But I think how true that could be. How true that, you know, let's remember that comment for next week, just in case.
Let's be fair. The games, and you know, and this is, look, KR fans, had you have had a goal kicker this year, your league leader shield winners. That's the reality. You know, we're now into a point in the season where, you know, goal kicking, as was proven at the weekend, you know, Mark Percival, you know, Mark Sneed. I said to Steph in the ground when Sneed had the chance to kick to go 8. To take it to 8 and to really put pressure on Leigh. I said, he's going to miss this. He's had one of the best conversion rates all year, but this is when it counts. He's going to miss this.
That's why. Yeah. To have the ice in your veins, to kick the ball from the touchline. So, you know, that's how important. That's what I'm going back to reference game. And it could 100% be a factor in this game because both sides are capable of scoring tries and defending as equally as well as each other. So I can see it being very equal on the tries scored against for, and it coming down to maybe a conversion missed or something like that. So, but one thing I think we all hope for as a neutral in this one is it's as good as the Warrington Saints game. And
not as close, so Steph, because
no, we want it as close. We want golden point.
No. I can't afford to lose as many hairs as I did on Saturday. All I hope is that Hicko puts his hand up for the goal kicking duties.
What happened? Elizabeth Higson has just booked her ticket for the quiz on Thursday. Make sure you do get into the chat. If you get into the comments on YouTube, on Facebook, and on the podcast, there is a link there for Eventbrite. It's a free ticket. The prize of the grand final ticket is solely for members. Sorry, however, if you sign up for an annual membership, you will be included for that prize. So that's as good as you get. Apologies to my friend who doesn't like advertising. Right, we move back to, it won't go, mate. I just find that so insulting that we do this. We do this every week. We can provide great entertainment. And
you're right, mate. You're right. We
go out and have a little whittle and get ourselves a refreshment for 2 minutes and we still leave something on the screen. Jog on, sir. Anyway, we move on. I'm sorry, but I'll just say it is, unbelievable. Anyway, Josh Sim goes KR 1-8. What did you say, Steph? Have you given me a prediction yet?
I've not, no.
Go on, mate.
Do you want me to give my prediction?
Yeah, go for it.
I'm going to go Warrington 1-8.
1-8 the wire. So you're going with me because I'm going exactly the same way. Joel has gone KR 1-8. Gary Schofield's gone KR by 9-17, and Greg's gone Warrington 9-17. So, a little bit either way. Let's get into the chat. There you go, Craig. Greg did stick with his prediction for the final whistle. Robert Hickson, Wire 1-8, KR by 6. Says Alan Meadows. Good evening, Alan. Craig Forth 1-8, the Wire, the Robins 1-8, Garibo, Linda Blunsman. She's gone Wire 1-8, Mark Smith, Warren 1. Look, it's great, this. I mean, and that is it. I mean, you just look down this list. Toss a coin is what you're basically saying. Toss a coin. Steve Carter's my old friend. He's gone Warrington 1-8. I've got to say hello to Steve. Josh Hoff has gone KR 1-8, sadly. But yeah, they're all still going in. And do you know what? There's the odd 9-17 in there. But I think the consensus of opinion is this is going to be.
And do you know what? As a Wire fan, if Hull KR beat us and go to the grand final, I will stand up and applaud, because I've argued for many, many years that the team that finishes top should be champions. And, it's a bit hypocritical of me to kind of, if you like, want Warrington to get there and then win the league.
You wouldn't have said that about Saints last week, would you? Anyway, but that's by the by.
I did say that. I said it would be hypocritical of Saints to finish 6th.
You did. But you wouldn't be happy with Saints being in the final and winning it, though, would you?
And then go to the final and win it. It would be so hypocritical of Saints to finish 6th and won the grand final.
How good was it, though? And especially looking back on it now, when that Leeds team did it from 5th with Rob Burrow and Kevin Sinfield. And seeing that magical moment.
Well, what you've just heard there is hope. So let's give Steph his hope. Let's move on. Let's hope that the KR and the Robins, the Robins against the Wire should be an exceptional game of rugby league, one not to be missed on Friday night. I mean, dearie me. What are you doing, folks? If you're thinking of doing anything else on Friday night, give the dog a bone, turn the clock off, get rid of the phone, get your beers in, put your feet up and watch quality rugby league football, because that's what's coming on Friday night. And also, I think, what will come on Saturday as well. So let's go to that Saturday game, and here comes some statistics for you. Here we go. Let's get into some facts, he says. It's starting to struggle a little bit. Oh, Steph doesn't want to see it. You don't want to see it. Here we go. They're coming now.
Oh, he's gone.
The combined score, no wonder he's gone. The combined score 2024 sees the Warriors 92, Leopards 24. Ouch. But let's not forget that, I think one of them games, the Leopards were missing quite a few troops, but it's still a hell of an impressive scoreline. Wigan have won 13 from 14 games at the Brick Community Stadium this year. Only the Warrington Wolves have beaten Wigan at the Brick this year. We're going to beat all of the 2024 semi-finalists. Of course, Leigh have not. They have not beaten Wigan. The Warriors are appearing in their 24th final series out of 26. That's incredible, isn't it? The Leopards are appearing in their second, of course, back-to-back appearances for the Leopards. Wigan have won 12 of their 16 semi-finals in Super League. Leigh Leopards last won the title in 1982. So the head-to-heads, as you'd expect, 12-1 in the Super League era. Here, we've got to go back to 2017 for the last Leopards win against the Warriors in Super League. Warriors coming in with a great record. They're 3-0 up this season. It's first against fifth. There's 6 points difference in attack, 26-20 in favour of the Warriors. And in defence, Warriors 12-14 better. As you would expect, league winners, they've got every trophy in the cabinet. Warriors go into this 1-4 favourites. Leigh Leopards 16-5. On the attack, a for and against, just a little bit of a caveat here, just only a little one. They have been getting better, have the Leigh Leopards. They have been getting better. In the last 13 games when they've won 11, the Leigh Leopards attack has been 23.8, nearly 24, and their defence has been 10 against, not 14. So in the last 13 games, Leigh do have a better defensive performance than Wigan in versus Wigan's collective 27-game performance. So that's something to be considering, Steph, when you're looking at that big stat in terms of the aggregate score. And finally, let's get into stat attack. So 125 tries to 100. Tackle efficiency, 0.2 between them. Wigan 90.7, Leigh 90.5. The average tackle bust, surprisingly, well, not surprisingly, Wigan, of course, Leigh have had a lot of their heavy hitters out this season. 38.3 for the Wigan Warriors, 34.4 for the Leopards. Clean breaks, 5.9 for the Warriors, 5.2 for the Leopards. Errors, 251 plays 274. Offloads, 192 for the Warriors, 212 for the Leopards. Average meters, though, go the way of the Leopards, 1,305 per game to Wigan's 1,276. But look at the goals. The difference Adam Kieran has made. Last year, Wigan was sub-70 under Harry Smith. This year, they're 81% because of Adam Kieran, 71% for Leigh. We talked about the importance of goal kicking in the Warrington game, gentlemen. Also here. Greg, this should be a good game. If ever, it's the biggest battle of the Borough era. Let's all that out straight away. Wow. Over to you, mate. What do you think?
Really, really looking forward to this game. This is Leigh's chance to put one over on their near neighbours. I believe it's heading for a sellout, so the atmosphere should be fantastic. I know when Warrington went to the whatever it's called stadium now, the atmosphere, it was like being at a gig. The atmosphere was magnificent, and I'm sure Leigh fans will more than replicate that and urge their team on. It's going to be. I think this is going to be an absolutely fantastic game. I really hope so. Anyway, I do hope this one goes to Golden Point.
But
so
to which
team? To everybody else.
Touche, Reggie.
But I don't think it will. I don't think it will go to Golden Point. I think Charlie's if Charlie's not playing, is he? I think Charlie's a massive miss.
And Holton.
Yeah, I think they are massive misses for Leigh. But I'm sure Steph will look at the positives on this one.
Well, Emily Pape is a positive. Tom Amon's a positive.
Yeah.
As the artist coming to form, it's a positive. So there are positives there.
Yeah, I just think Charlie's going to be a massive miss on that edge.
Kai O'Donnell should return, though. That's the rumour.
I hope so. I really do hope so, because I think Kai O'Donnell has been magnificent this season. Absolutely magnificent.
So which way are you going?
Wigan 100 plus.
If I tip Leigh, I'll never be able to go down the East Lancs again in safety. I generally think it'll be a close game, but I think Wigan are going to win 9-17. Sorry, everyone.
No, well, look, Gary Schofield's gone the same way. Fans Form's gone the same way. Joel sees it closer 1-8. I see it Wigan 9-17. I mean, look, we'll go back to, and again, sorry to disappoint you here, Steph, mate, but when you go back to that top stat, this season it's 92-24 to the Wigan in over 3 games. I mean, for me, I can't ignore that. But it is playoff rugby league. So I think it's going to be a really tight first half again. But I fear that we're going to do to Leigh again what they've done every time almost that they play them. Second half, they just get the job done. So I'm going 9-17. Steph, last word on this one goes to you. Go for it, mate.
Well, I think no matter what, this is Leigh's final, isn't it? There's going to be another huge crowd going from Leigh to watch this one. Fair play to the Leigh. I mean, the number of Leigh fans that went to Salford last week was incredible. I think we're showing some established Super League clubs, what it means to, a population of 46,000 taking 10% of your town to an away game is a phenomenal achievement, and doing that back to back as well, which we've already exceeded that in terms of our ticket sales for this game. You'd have to pinch me at the moment to say that if we went back 2 years ago, and that we'd be a Challenge Cup winning side who've gone back-to-back playoffs, and who are now actually gone one better than that and are playing we're 80 minutes away from Old Trafford. I think a lot of Leigh fans would have said, "What you smoking 2 years ago?" So we are
probably be in Amsterdam, but carry on.
I think a lot of us would have been, Dave. We're still kind of pinching ourselves as Leigh fans that we're actually in this position, and I think even look at this season from round 16 to say, if you'd have said to me at round 16 we'd be playing Wigan and with a chance of 80 minutes from Old Trafford, you wouldn't have believed it. So no matter what happens this weekend, I think Leigh have done phenomenally well to get to where we have. And the only thing from a Leigh perspective is what could we have done? You know, from the start that we had, is where could we have finished? What could we have done with this team? But what the Leigh team has got is this last dance mentality. They've got a lot of key players who are leaving this team. This could be their final game, and that is definitely going to be drawn on. Whether they drew too much on that against Salford, because we got very emotional at that Salford game just to get to this position. Whether we can do that again against, for me, one of the greatest Super League sides that's ever been assembled, who are full strength. It's David Goliath doesn't probably do it justice for me in this one, but the beauty of rugby league is that sometimes miracles do happen.
So what are you going, mate?
Leigh 1-8.
Fantastic. And I would have been disappointed had you gone any other way. Look, we'll keep building up to this fantastic game throughout the week on our social media platforms. We will be unpacking it on Sunday with the Final Whistle podcast with the Team Talk members. That'll be there for your listening pleasure on Monday for your trip to work. This show is going to be available to watch on YouTube for as long as you want, and also as a podcast. Tell your friends about it. That'll be uploaded tomorrow morning from 6 o'clock. We've got the Super League Raw quiz this Thursday night, and another member has joined, Glyn. He has joined tonight as well. He's possibly going to be in he's coming to join us for that quiz night and has the chance of going to the grand final because he's took out an annual membership. Thank you very much indeed, of course, for that. 2 annual members have come on tonight. You're going to love the Super League Raw community. We really appreciate your support. 2 brilliant games coming up. Don't forget, once this show is finished, 2 things you need to do. 1, go and get your ticket for the event. Go on to Eventbrite. The link is in the chat. Go on is in the description of the YouTube, the podcast, and on Facebook. Click the link. Go and get your free ticket. Don't take a ticket if you're not going to come, because that's taking other people's chances away. Get your ticket. Come and see what we do here at Super League Raw. Quiz nights. Nobody else does this type of thing. They don't. We have got, I believe, the best podcast out there. Absolute positivity. We've given you great entertainment for 2 hours. So why not go over to, once you've done the Eventbrite, to Patreon. Consider supporting us. We want to get bigger. We want to get better. We want to keep giving you better prizes. We want to extend our community. Welcome, Glyn, to you tonight. Really appreciate you getting involved. Also to Alan Clegg. My thanks go to Steph and to Reggie, as always, for their company. We will see you on the other side of what is bound to be an exceptional weekend of rugby league football. I'll just say, here come the shivers. Liam Marshall, Edwin Ipape, George Williams, Matty Ashton, Mikey Lewis. Oh, they're all going to be there on show. Oh, yes, outstanding. This is why we love this game. This is why we're the best community. Rugby League. Come on, IMG. Come on, the Rugby Football League. Get some promotion done. Greatest sport on earth. We'll see you next week for more Super League Raw Weekly. Because, Steph, as you always say, sir,
you can't beat a better weekly.
You most certainly can. We'll see you next week, guys.